Love spells seem to be the most common spell type that you'll hear about. They're everywhere. And whenever I get requests to do spells for people, they are usually love spells or money spells, but generally love spells. And unfortunately, one of the most common requests for spell magic and one of the most common reasons people might search out a spellcaster or a witch is because they're wanting to cast a spell on a particular person in order for them to come back if they've already been in a relationship with that person, or they want to cast a spell on them in order for that person to fall in love with them. And there are reasons why these things rarely ever work out well. And it's not just to do with ethics or morality. There's actually deeper things at play. So I'm going to talk about that today on this video. But before I do, hi, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. If you're new to the channel and you want to be a Wiccan or study witchcraft in more of a Wiccan context, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. So if you've been with me any length of time, or if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I talk a lot about shadow work. I do EFT tapping. It's one of the things that I do with people. And I've explored a lot of my own stuff in relation to my own insecurities, lack of self-worth and all of that stuff through tapping and through doing shadow work. And the reason why this is so important on this subject is because this need to have a particular person in your life when that person no longer wants to be there, or maybe that person hasn't been there but you're wanting that particular person to be there, to cast a spell on them isn't just about the ethical reasons of, manipulating somebody and trying to force somebody to do something that may be against their will. That's a hard thing to achieve anyway, magically. But it's the fact that what is the real motivation for thinking that that one person is the only person that is going to be able to fulfill your needs in your life? So this is an adult conversation, really, because it's about you being able to have enough self-love and self-acceptance that you don't need to have a particular person in your life in order to feel lovable, in order to feel whole, and in order to feel worthy. And I know I have definitely been in this situation in my past. One of my life lessons has definitely been around relationships and around the frantic anxiety around losing a partner, or thinking that this one particular person is going to be your life, and if you can't be with them, then that's it, you're never going to find anybody else. So I've done a lot of work around this myself, so I understand where this stuff comes from. It's an insecurity within ourselves. It's a feeling of not being good enough, not being worthy enough. And what often happens is when we have these feelings about ourselves, there's this low self-esteem, this low self-acceptance, low self-worth, is that we'll often find ourselves attracted to the very people that are going to actually be the people who make us feel more of that stuff. So you're going to find yourself maybe attracted to somebody you can't have, attracted to somebody who doesn't want to be with you, or you may find yourself involved in relationship dynamics with people where that person ends up leaving and you're there feeling unworthy, unlovable. It's not them, it's actually a combination of you and them. Yes, it hurts when somebody you love leaves you. Yes, it hurts when you think that when you're attracted to somebody and they're not attracted to you in that way. It's painful and it hurts. It does. But that's life. Life does hurt. And one of the reasons we're here is to explore life and experience life. And these lessons that we have with relationships with people, different types of relationships, are here to teach us what we need to work on within ourselves. So it's an opportunity to understand yourself when you're in these situations. It's not going to be helpful to you to try and control the other person by putting a spell on them, because that's essentially what you're trying to do. You're trying to control the other person in a way that's very difficult to do because you're trying to make someone fall in love with you. And love isn't something you can control, even with magic. Maybe you can control attraction, so they can be attracted to you for a certain period of time. But sexual attraction wears off after about 6 months. It's something that wears off generally anyway to a certain degree. So it's not like that person is really in love with you. They may be just attracted to you. Because love isn't something you can control. It's not something you can cast a spell over to someone to make you truly love you, as in truly love, as in, real love. It's more likely that person might become infatuated with you, even obsessed with you. And do you want that? I know people who've said, they've told me they've cast a spell on a guy to have that person fall in love with them. And then that person's become infatuated with them because the spell has worked at attracting that person. And now they want to get rid of that guy because he's being too obsessive about them, or that they realize they didn't like him after all. These sorts of things happen too when it comes to this type of magic. So it's really about using these opportunities to understand yourself. Because if you feel that the only way that you can achieve one beautiful, loving relationship is to control another person to love you, then that actually says more about your relationship to yourself and your belief that you're just not lovable enough to have somebody genuinely, truly love you of their own volition. And that's what love is about. It is about surrendering and letting go. And it's a hard thing to do. I understand that. I've been there. But it's about trust and surrender in the process. It's trusting in yourself and learning how to love yourself. Because when you love yourself and you're confident with yourself, then you'll find you'll actually be more attracted to somebody who's actually going to love you back. You're not going to be attracted to somebody who's going to fulfill your subconscious belief that you're not good enough. Because they're the people you're probably looking at, and they're the people you're probably wanting to control. And it's not going to work because the subconscious mind's in control. You're not feeling lovable enough. You're not feeling worthy enough. So you're going to attract a person who's going to fulfill that as a truth, whether they do it consciously or unconsciously. Now, that person could still be a really wonderful person. Doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means that you're attracting that person to you because subconsciously you believe you're not good enough. And that's how the psyche works. That's how the subconscious mind works. It creates circumstances to fit your belief system. So if your belief system is, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, then trying to bring a love into your life with a particular person is not going to help you feel self-love and self-worthiness, which is really what you're wanting. Because that person could go at any time. They could die. Anything can happen. So if you're relying on that person to feel worthy and acceptable, then you're looking in the wrong place. Now, when it comes to love magic, I'm all for doing magic to attract a person, okay, an anonymous person, to attract love into your life, to do love magic on yourself, to make you be more in love with yourself in a healthy way, and to do magic to attract somebody into your life, the right person into your life, and you don't know who that person's going to be. You write down a list of qualities that you'd like in a person. You write down a list of your own qualities. You become self-aware about the things that you've done in the past, perhaps in past relationships where you have contributed to the breakup, because it takes two people to break up, not just one. It's never just one side, it's always never one side, because even if you're involved in a relationship with somebody like a narcissist, you've still got that codependent personality to be involved with them in the first place. So there's always a dynamic of the two creating the relationship and also breaking the relationship up. So it's about learning about yourself and understanding how did you contribute to the breakup, if there was a breakup, and what can you learn from that in order to make yourself more healthy and to attract then a relationship to you. And think about the surprise in that. You're putting magic out there to attract somebody to you with the qualities that you want. You've hopefully worked on yourself a little bit so you're feeling more self-love and more self-worth. And then who knows who's going to turn up? It's a surprise. You know, think about the surprise element of not knowing who that person's going to be. That's exciting and fun in itself. So don't think that this one particular person that you know or that you've seen or that you've even been with is the one and only person, because they're not. There are so many fish out there in the sea. Still, it's true what they say. It doesn't feel true because the lack of self-worth is holding on to this need for this person to love you in order to feel worthy. And I know that I can talk underwater. I could talk forever. It's like I'm talking underwater. I could talk forever to tell you what's really going on. And when you are obsessed with somebody, you're not going to listen. But if you are ready to listen and you really do want to work on having a relationship in your life, do not send me spell requests, because I don't do spell work for people at the moment anyway. But especially don't send me a request to do spell work for a particular person to fall in love with you, because I'm not going to do it, and I'm more likely going to, if I'm talking to you, explain what actually might be going on, and maybe even help you realize what the real reason is that's making you want to attract this particular person into your life. So this is where I'm talking about witchcraft more from a spiritual point of view and more from a know thyself point of view. These are life skills. These are the things that a spiritual path can help give you. A sense of know thyself. Who am I really? How do I really relate to myself? And am I putting myself in a position where I am not really showing self-care and self-love by trying to control another person and make them actually fall in love, which isn't really something that's possible anyway. As I said before, it's more likely they're going to become infatuated or obsessed or just attracted to you rather than actually falling in love with you. Now, there's no reason why you can't do spells to make yourself more attractive if you know that if there is somebody you're attracted to and you'd like to get their attention, and you'd like to maybe talk to them or go out with them, there's nothing wrong with doing magic to help put you in a circumstance where you can be with a person, or put yourself in a circumstance where you're most attractive. So you can certainly do magic to do that, and then let nature take its course from there. So there might be someone you are attracted to and you want an opportunity to be able to speak with them and spend some time with them so that they can get to know you and you can get to know them. There's nothing wrong with doing magic for that, to put yourself in a situation and to create a situation and where that could happen. But then allow it to happen naturally, if it is to happen, rather than trying to control the situation. That's a better use of magic. So think about these things when you are doing spell casting. I do have a spellcaster checklist if you're wanting to be a little bit more thoughtful about your spell work. If you've got spells particularly that are complex and have lots of different angles associated with them, then the spellcaster checklist will just help you look through what you need to consider when you're doing magic, and also will help you understand what needs to be considered if you are thinking of paying somebody to do a spell for you, because that checklist is something you need to go through before you start talking to somebody who's a spellcaster, because that will help you also understand whether the person you're talking to is a genuine spellcaster or whether they're a fake one. So the more you know about it, the better you're able to go in there and find the right person to do any spell work for you. So the link to that is in the description field below this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, throw in some comments about your thoughts and experiences on this topic. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com, and I'll see you on the next video. Blessed be.